In this high cave on top of Thor mountain, the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companion Abu Bakr as-Siddiq lodged as two guests before emigrating peacefully to Medina al-Munawwara to escape the polytheists of Mecca. From this high and narrow cave, the voice of truth and Islam was born, and the message of Muhammad, peace be upon him, started. Its light shone on all the lands, and from it were the most important stages of the route of the Islamic call. It takes about an hour and a half to climb Thor Mountain. It is situated on the northern side of the sacred mosque at a distance of approximately 4 kilometers. Its height is about 748 meters above sea level and 458 from the foot of the mountain. It is a hollow rock whose maximum height is 1¼ of a meter, while its maximum length and width is 3½ meters by 3½ meters. The rock has two openings, one on the western side, from which the Prophet entered, and one from the east. It had been mentioned in the Holy Quran and is situated below Mecca, south of the Misfada district. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, peace be upon him, said, "May Allah be pleased with him," narrated, "I was with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the cave, and I saw the footprints of the polytheists, and I said, O God's apostle, if one of them raised his foot, he would have seen us. And he replied, what do you think of the two, and Allah is their third? The mountain of Thor is a great presence in the books about the Prophet's life and in the poems of poets. It has touched the emotions and feelings of Muslims because of its gracious mountain which hosted in its cave the purest and dearest of mankind, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companion Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The poet Hussein Arab says about Thor mountain, O night, tell the story of the cave in Thor, and record its words for the nights. And O houses of light, listen to the sound, and sanctify the tune of the most beautiful saying. Before climbing the mountain, you begin to contemplate and recapture those historical moments that mark the beginning of Muhammad's message, peace be upon him. With the difficult climbing of the mountain, you imagine the steps of the beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, in front of you between the rocks. It is inevitable that the Iman would increase. Steps of this moment race forward to climb to the top of the mountain, where the cave of Thor was hiding place of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his believing companion Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, from the polytheists before he headed for Taybat at-Tayba. Allah the Exalted said, if you help him not for Allah, did indeed help him when the disbelievers drove him out. The second of two, when they are in the cave, and he said to his companion, but not sad, surely Allah is with us.
إلا وتشعر بقربه للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم حسا ومكانا.
The scene of the cave that is situated before the top brings calm and peace. As you approach it, you feel your closeness to the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the sense and place. Here you are overwhelmed by a strange feeling that you cannot dispose of except after the sight falls in the view of holy places. You can see most of them from the mountain, after you taken by surprise by the advancement of construction that surrounds and covers the foot of the mountain. Visitors from many nationalities come to see and to contemplate the place of their beloved Prophet, peace be upon him. Their love for him led them to climb and tolerate the hardship in order to see the place where he took refuge at a time of enmity from the nearest of kin. At the beginning of his calling them to Islam, visitors have a great interest to take care of the cave that never changed throughout history. In another place not far from Thor mountain is Hira mountain, or Jabal an-Nur, the mountain of light, as the people of Mecca like to call it. It has a right to be called that. After all, it is the place of the first revelation to the best of mankind, Muhammad, peace be upon him, and on the revelation of the heavens connected with earth. It is the mountain in whose cave the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to worship Allah before the message and after it. It is the cave where the revelation came down and the first verse of the Holy Quran was recited. It is the greatest and most revered moments in history. It is a time when history and humanity changed as they have never been changed before. Hira Cave is situated on top of the mountain northeast of Mecca at a distance of 4 kilometers from the sacred mosque. It is a gap with its door towards the north, and it can take about 5 people seated, and its height takes a person of medium height. A person standing on top of this mountain sees Mecca and its buildings, as well as Thor Mountain. The top of the mountain resembles a camel's hump, and it is said that there is no other mountain in Mecca or anywhere else that looks like Hira Mountain. It is a mountain of a unique appearance, and it is distinguished from other mountains by the fact that the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to go to it for worship before the message was revealed to him. It is a witness to the first revelation to the standing of Gabriel, peace be upon him, in the cave when he embraced the Prophet, peace be upon him, and asked him to read the first verse that was revealed from the Quran. Read in the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists. The visitor of the cave of Hira starts to imagine and feel those historical moments for the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he used to go to this cave and isolate himself from his friends, 3 years before he was entrusted with the message. The place where he used to contemplate about the divine secrets of existence until the time came for him to deal with these secrets when Allah ﷺ sent Gabriel to him in the cave, and our noble Prophet, peace be upon him, undertook the greatest trust. The fact of the earth changed when he heard the noble verses. In the name of your Lord, who has created all that exists. He has created man from a clot, a piece of thick coagulated blood. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who has taught the writing by the pen, has taught man that which he knew not. The mountain of light seems rugged at the base with a sharp incline except from the eastern side, and in order to get to the cave, one must climb first to the top of the mountain and then descend to the cave. Once you reach the base of the mountain, you'll notice that it is wide, and when you turn your gaze towards the top starting from the bottom, you'll see that it rises sharply in an almost upright angle except on the eastern side where the incline is less sharp and reaches the top that is wide and almost horizontal. When you decide to climb the mountain, you'll find that it is not an easy task, even though the track leading on to the top had been paved by volunteers over the centuries. Only the strong are able to climb the mountain, and the cave with the space in front of it are isolated, and the path leading to them is hidden between large close rocks that make them seem impossible to pass through.
يختفي طريق الدخول إليهما بين صخور ضخمة متلاصقة لا تظن العين العابرة أنه يمكن المرور من خلالها.
On the way to the top, which is always crowded with visitors, you come across a simple rest area where the climbers rest in the shade from the heat of the sun in the summertime. After descending the slope steps, a person finds himself as if he came to the end of the trail. There are large rocks close to each other to the right and to the sharp incline of the mountain to the left and in the front. When you approach the cave, you find a narrow passage leading to the path that narrows and widens and ends with a small opening where the person needs to bend in order to exit, and then finds himself in a spacious natural shade in front of the cave. To the left of the cave, you notice someone praying while others wait. You'll also notice writings and inscriptions above its entrance and on its walls in numerous languages that had been written by visitors to the cave throughout the ages in primitive ways and colors. An-Nur mountain and the cave of Hira are the most important places in the history of Islam and in the life of its Prophet, peace be upon him. They witnessed one of the most important events in human history and Islam, and in the crucial times of the Prophet, peace be upon him.